contagion from the Luna-UST crash wiped out $300 billion from the crypto markets, and Bitcoin, the largest of them all, bled the most. According to CoinGlass, a crypto analytics tracker, Bitcoin derivatives traders lost over $1.2 billion due to liquidations. So what lies ahead for the OG of the crypto world and other old coins? Benjamin Stani, Business Development and Sales Director at Matrixport, joins in to talk about just that. Great to have you with us again, Benjamin.
Good to have me back. Thank you.
Now, the market sell-off after the Luna crash was quite brutal, and it didn't spare retail or institutional investors. Bitcoin derivative traders got whiplashed in both long and short positions, losing billions after Luna collapsed. But are we now stabilized around that $30,000 mark on the Bitcoin?
Things have been very turbulent after the Luna fallout. BTC volumes briefly spiked over 150% when they went down all the way to 25K, but then also quickly rebounded to 30K, and we've been holding this level since, basically. There's initial fear for further systemic risk, and we briefly had USDT trading at 97 cents on the dollar, but that also quickly reversed. And I think the more time that's passing now, and with us having seen any major blow-ups, I think it's just showing that actually we can rule out more and more systemic risk. And volatility levels have actually been back to pre-Luna now. So in Bitcoin, that's around 70-80%. I think going forward, our market outlook will be more macro-dependent, and all eyes will be on the Fed and the US rate hike cycle and potential quantitative tightening around there.
Well, altcoins also had it pretty rough. Phantom, Cardano, Avalanche, just a few names among hundreds that were seeing double-digit cuts in the Luna aftermath. What's the outlook for them?
Yes, you're right. Every time there's stress, we see liquidations. Bitcoin, as I said before, went to 25K and then rebound. And for alts, it's even more extreme because volatility is higher, and so they drop even more and find lower bottoms. But then we saw the same effect. Once they found the bottom, the bounce was even stronger. Now, overall, alts are much lower because if you bounce 50% after an 80% drop, you're lower than if you bounce 25% after a 40% drop. However, you can see how leverage is playing a role here. And in essence, these program stop losses always cause further downward liquidations. And with higher volatility in alts, these stop losses will kick earlier because the leverage providers, the exchanges, will want to protect themselves, and so they start liquidating your positions earlier. Now, I do want to say that in the current market environment, it's very challenging. So I'd personally recommend to be very careful if you take tactical leverage.
And talking about altcoins, ETH has been fairly resilient. How are you approaching the second biggest crypto, especially as there are big changes in the wings for it with that transition to a proof of stake chain?
I think we might be rubbing a few people the wrong way calling ETH an altcoin. I feel like most of crypto consensus already putting Ethereum into the same blue chip bucket like Bitcoin. There's a lot of things going on under the hood with Ethereum, and the transition to proof of stake is clearly the one that everyone's watching. But there's also some other things going on. There's a debate, for example, on decentralization or the lack of decentralization with some important vectors like centralization of staking providers. There's a high-level debate the last couple of days where they were talking about what is the right max for one staking provider to have a massed of staking service, because at the moment Lido has about 30% of all staked Ethereum. So that's clearly not decentralized. So I think there's a few things happening on the Ethereum side, and the proof of stake transition is clearly the major one that everyone is watching. We've been told that it's supposed to happen before the end of the year. It's been delayed a couple of times, but market consensus seems to be that it's actually happening this time. And what you hear from the developers is that it's all hands on that project. So I think if successful, this will certainly impact our entire crypto ecosystem and will shape the way that the market is looking forward on Ethereum.
ETH 2.0 could certainly be a game changer, and I'm sure we'll be talking a whole lot more about it as well. Thanks for all the insights, Benjamin.
Thank you very much.